morning. Last week we talked about Enoch, the Hall of Faith, the second entrant into the Hall of Faith. Enoch was the father of Methuselah. Methuselah was the father of Lamech. Lamech was the father of Noah. Noah would be the third entrance we have into the Hall of Faith. Hebrews chapter 11 gives us the words of Noah and his entrant. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 7, it says, "By faith Noah, being warned by God concerning events as yet unseen, in reverent fear constructed an ark for the saving of his household. By this he condemned the world and became an heir of righteousness that comes by faith." Genesis chapter 6 gives us the story of Noah. Genesis chapter 6, 7, 8, and 9. A story we're all familiar with. Even non-churchgoers are familiar with the story of Noah and the ark. It has adorned nurseries and Bible stories and toys and whatnot for kids for generations. We all know the story. God is fed up with the earth. People have become so sinful, so ignorant, so away from God, that he finally has had enough and says, "I'm out. I'm done. I'm wiping out the people of this earth." But he spares Noah and his family, his three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their wives, and Noah's wife. And he tells God tells Noah, build an ark. And he gives him specific dimensions out of cypress wood or gopher wood. He tells him this is what the ark should look like, and this is the size. And Noah built the ark to the exact specifications that God had for it, to the exact dimensions that God had said, the exact way God wanted it done. Noah followed that plan. 2 by 2 the animals came. They entered the ark. I don't know what that must have looked like, what it sounded like, what it smelled like. I can't imagine it smelled good. When all the animals had entered the ark, God closed the door behind Noah and his family and all the animals. And then it began to rain. And it rained, and it rained. And for 40 days and for 40 nights it rained. There's been some days where it felt like it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. I can't imagine what the earth looked like. It was flooded. It was wiped out. Everything but Noah and his family. And the animals that were brought on the ark. Everything was gone. God was starting anew. And then after they had been on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights in all the midst of the rain, it stopped. The rain halted. Floodwaters began to recede. And the ark ran aground. Noah sent out a bird, a dove, and eventually it brought back an olive branch. And Noah knew now that it was time to come out because the plants had started growing again. And Noah and his family, they left the ark and all the animals and they dispersed. And Noah went, and the first thing he did was he built an altar to God and he made a sacrifice to God. And God made a covenant with Noah and he said, "I'll never flood the earth again." That covenant was sealed with a rainbow in the sky. So next time it rains and you look out and you see that rainbow up in the sky, remember the covenant that God made with Noah, that he would never destroy the earth again with flood. That was God's promise to Noah. It's a great Bible story. Well, what does it say there in Hebrews chapter 11? Why was Noah commended because of his faith? What did he do that was so great? Again, in verse 7 it says, "By faith Noah, being warned by God." So God tells him, "I'm going to destroy the earth with flood, with the rainwater." Concerning events that are yet unseen. Noah had never seen rain before. He didn't know what this was, but yet when God tells him, "I'm going to destroy the earth with floodwaters from the heavens, I'm going to make rain come down and flood the earth," Noah didn't bat an eye. All right, this is what you want me to do, this is what I'm going to do. I don't get it, I don't understand, but you're telling me I need to do this, so I'm going to do it. In reverent fear, he constructed an ark for the saving of his household. Noah shows us what a great example of faith looks like. He didn't know what God had intended. He didn't know what God had planned. He didn't understand, but he knew that God was telling him, this is what you need to do. Do it. And that's the first thing I want us to get out of the story of Noah. Sometimes God has plans for us. Sometimes God tells us to do something or go somewhere or tells us to stay somewhere or stay in the situation. Do it. If God is telling you to do something, there's a reason behind it. Noah was commended because he had faith in what he didn't see. Remember that in Hebrews chapter 11, the definition of faith is belief in what you cannot see. That's what Noah did. He didn't understand why he had to build an ark or what rain was, but God was saying do it, so he did it. So that's the first and foremost thing we need to remember about Noah is he had faith to do what he didn't understand. Remember, if God's powerful enough to create all this and everything around us, then when he tells us to do something, there's probably a reason behind it. The second thing that we need to remember about Noah is this. And this goes in Genesis chapter 6, verse 8. This is after God has basically said that the earth is corrupt. There's evil everywhere. I'm going to destroy it. I'm wiping out the generations because nobody is good. In verse 8 it says this, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And then it continues in verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. You see, God had a plan for Noah and his family. And Noah followed that plan with his faith in God, that God would take care of him, and he was needing to do what God asked him to do. But here's the main thing about Noah that we often forget. In all the corrupt world, and everything around him that was evil and wrong and wicked, and had turned their back on God, Noah walked with God. What was it that got Enoch taken straight to heaven? He walked with God. What was it that got Noah and his family on the ark? He walked with God. Noah was righteous and blameless. Now the best part about that is God's telling us here that Noah was righteous and blameless, but also according to the scriptures there's only one man that was sinless. That was Jesus Christ. So therefore, Noah was a sinner. But yet he walked with God and was righteous and blameless. We make mistakes. We make failures. Daily, we fail. Daily, I fail. I turn my back on the Lord. Anytime I choose myself over Him, I'm turning my back on Him. But yet, I can be the same as Noah right here. When I come to Him with a repentant heart and ask for forgiveness and keep moving forward. The thing with Noah, the rest of the world was wicked. And God was ready to wipe out everybody. But one man stood tall. One man did what he was supposed to do. One man walked with God. And that's the biggest takeaway from the life of Noah and why he's in the Hall of Faith. It's simple. He stood his ground. He knew what was right, and he did it. The problems we have in this world right now, the issues that daily we're faced with, are because we've strayed away from God. Because we've walked away from God. Because we're not righteous or blameless before the eyes of the Lord. Because we put ourselves ahead of others. When Jesus was asked, what's the greatest commandment? He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your strength. And the second is just like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. And then he says, in these two commandments, the law is fulfilled. That's Matthew chapter 22. That's how we walk with God. That's how we are righteous and we are blameless. When we walk with Him, when we love Him and we love those around us. It took Noah being righteous to be saved. What are we doing to be righteous? Are we standing up in a world that is corrupt and evil and wicked? Are we different? When you're walking down the street, does somebody look at you and say, there's something special about that guy, or there's something different about that girl? Are they seeing what God sees? Are they seeing God in you? Let your light shine amongst men so they may see your good deeds and give praise to your Father who's in heaven. That was Noah. Day in and day out, he built the ark being ridiculed by everybody around him, his family, his friends, people that he knew and loved. They made fun of him. And what are you doing, Noah? What's this rain you speak of? Why are you building this big old boat? That's ridiculous. But he kept on doing it. What are you doing? Are you making a difference in your community, in your home, in your churches? Are you stepping out in faith like Noah did and being righteous and blameless among the people? When we do falter and we fail, do we return to God and ask for forgiveness and repent of what we've done wrong? Make amends for that and then continue moving forward. Because that's what life is all about, is acknowledging those mistakes and moving forward and reconciling ourselves with God so that we can be a light into this world. Are you walking with God? Are you righteous? Are you blameless? Are you standing up for what is right and what is true and what is holy? Are you making a difference in the world around you? If God was to destroy the earth again, if we put ourselves in those shoes, would God look down and say, I'm wiping everything out, but you know what? There's Ashley, and I'm going to save the world through him? Could he look at you and say the same thing he said about Noah? Could he look at you and say, he's righteous and blameless, she's righteous and blameless, I'm going to begin anew with her. I'm going to begin anew with him. That's how we need to live our lives. Standing up for what is right. Be the difference maker in this world. Be the change. Focus on who you are in God and serve him with all your heart. Go where he wants you to go, do what he wants you to do, and say what he wants you to say. Be who he wants you to be. Nothing else matters. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you again next week.